2 years back. This venue brought a lot of emotions for me, so happy to be back.
Madrid Open draw sets up Alex Eala for revenge against Mertens. And this time, the distance between memory and payback is exactly one win. On October 17, 2023, Elise Mertens beat Alex Eala 7-5, 6-0 in Monastir, and that second set bagel never really left the story. Now, the April 20th Madrid draw has brought it back with surgical precision. Alex Eala, only 20, opens against a qualifier, and the reward for surviving round one could be a second-round clash with the same veteran who once overwhelmed her. The bracket did not merely create a matchup, it reopened a wound. 72 hours earlier, it also gave Alex the cleanest shot yet to prove she is no longer the player Mertens dismissed in 1 hour and 15 minutes. The only context this story needs is the only head-to-head that exists. Mertens beat Eala 7-5, 6-0 in Monastir. And that last set is the reason this draw feels charged. Madrid now places Alex against a qualifier first, with 19th seed Mertens waiting in round 2 if she gets through. Joan Bosch is with her in Madrid for this clay stretch, which matters because this is not background travel detail. It is a live response to an old scoreline. April 20th made the possibility official. April 21 or 22 can force both players to look at it again. Elise Mertens is not the villain because she said something reckless. She is the villain because the scoreboard gave her that role. A 7-5 opening set says the younger player had enough to compete. A 6-0 second set says the veteran finished the lesson and left no argument behind. That is why Monastir still matters. It was not just a loss, it was a hierarchy made visible. Madrid sharpens that hierarchy all over again. Mertens gets the bye that comes with being the 19th seed. She rests, watches, and waits. Eala has to walk out first, beat a qualifier, and earn the right to stand across from the woman who once made her look unfinished. And to be fair, Mertens has earned that status. She is 30, established, and still one of the tour's most reliable professionals on clay. That acknowledgement matters because it makes the conflict stronger, not weaker. Alex is not chasing revenge against a fading name. She is chasing it against a proven one. Start where the pain started. October 17, 2023, Monastir, round of 32. Mertens beat Eala 7-5, 6-0. Official result, uncomfortable result, permanent result. Imagine being 18 and feeling the first set stay within reach, only for the second set to vanish under you. A bagel from a veteran does not just put a number on the board, it tells a young player exactly how ruthless the gap can be. Now move to April 20th, 2026. The Madrid draw drops, and suddenly, the old scar has a location, a round, and a deadline. Alex gets a qualifier in round 1. Mertens, seeded 19th, sits in round 2 with a bye. Monday, the draw appears. Within hours, the conversation is no longer broad career talk. It is one focused thought. Beat the qualifier and the past is waiting. That is what gives the story its edge. This is not random symmetry. The exact opponent tied to that 6-0 is the one the bracket placed on the next line. And Alex arrives as a very different player. She comes into Madrid ranked number 44 after reaching a career high number 29 on March 16, 2026. You do not need a long ranking lecture to understand what that means. The teenager from Monastir is gone. The player entering Madrid belongs inside the sport's serious conversations. The recent match log supports that. March 21st in Miami, she beat Magdalenette 6-3, 7-6-2. April 7th in Linz, she beat Julia Graber 6-4, 6-3 on indoor clay. 2 wins in 2 different settings, and both of them say the same thing. Alex now carries enough game to make established players work for every clean point. That is the pattern here. Miami showed she can handle a high-level hard-court stage. Linz showed the clay transition is not foreign territory. Madrid now asks the hardest version of the question. Can that growth survive contact with the exact opponent who once exposed her limits? If you looked at this draw the moment it came out and immediately understood why it felt dangerous for both sides, You saw the story clearly. The audience locked into Alex early was not reaching for drama. They were identifying a real collision point before the rest of tennis finished scrolling the bracket. Now turn the lens back to Mertens. She remains difficult for all the reasons that mattered in 2023. Around number 20 in the world, seeded 19th in Madrid, and still sturdy on clay, she came through Stuttgart with a win over Eala before falling to Karolina Muchova in round 2. That recent form matters because it blocks any lazy fantasy that Alex is walking into a soft rematch. She is not. She is walking toward a veteran who still knows how to control pace, absorb emotion, and punish impatience. That is why this matchup feels so alive. Same name, same memory, different Alex. Still dangerous Mertens. Then look at how quickly the last month has moved. March 16th brought the career-high ranking. March 21st brought the Lynette win in Miami. March 23rd brought the brutal Muchova loss, 6-0, 6-2. A reminder that elite tennis still punishes hesitation without mercy. April 7th brought a straight sets reply against Grabber. April 14th brought another hard lesson when Leylah Fernandez beat her 6-1, 6-4 in Stuttgart. April 20th brought Mertens back into the frame. That timeline matters because it shows Alex entering Madrid in motion, not in comfort. Progress, pushback, correction, another test. That is what becoming looks like at this level. The last piece is the human reaction around the bracket. As pathway graphics spread on April 19th and 20th, Filipino timelines filled with one recurring theme: Mertens again. A BSCBN posts, fan accounts, and Dion Castillejo updates helped turn a draw release into a national tennis conversation. The excitement was not vague. It centered on that single old scoreline and the chance to answer it, and that is the emotional peak of the whole setup. One win over a qualifier turns Alex Eala's next walk onto court into a confrontation with the player who once boggled her. Not at a small stop, at Madrid, on clay, with the entire audience already feeling the shape of what that would mean. Joan Bosch gives this moment weight. He is Eala's longtime coach, a trusted presence in her team, and the man traveling beside her through this stretch of the clay season. In recent training clips, the message around his work has been clear. Staying the same is not the objective. That matters because coaches see through storylines faster than anyone. They know whether a player is chasing emotion or building a better standard. Bosch being there in Madrid tells you Alex's camp is treating this as serious progression, not bracket gossip. And Alex's own words from Miami fit that tone perfectly.
I make it the point to always be grateful.
I make it a point to always be grateful, she said. She also said, "We're very proud of where we come from, whites. It's just a way for us to bond and show pride in our culture." Those words give the rematch possibility its center. Gratitude keeps her grounded. Pride keeps the mission bigger than a single scoreline. If Alex beats the qualifier and then gets past Mertens, the reward is not just emotional closure. It changes the whole conversation around her clay season. A third-round meeting with Ekaterina Alexandrova would come into view. After Madrid, the calendar rolls straight into Rome, then Roland Garros in Paris. Those are the next checkpoints, and Madrid is the place where the tone for all of them can change. Here is the prediction that holds up. A win over Mertens would make Eala one of the most uncomfortable names in the draw for the rest of the clay swing. Not unbeatable, not finished. Just unavoidable in the way rising players become unavoidable when they beat the exact kind of veteran who once handled them easily. That is why the audience investment feels so intense. Alex's rise is not being consumed as neutral content. Filipino fans see themselves in the fight for space, respect, and permanence on a stage that used to feel far away. Every step she takes deeper into a tournament widens that sense of ownership. Madrid can redefine the mood. Rome can test whether it travels. Roland Garros can decide whether the warning has become a threat. This is not a coronation march. The losses are still fresh. On April 14th in Stuttgart, Leylah Fernandez beat Eala 6-1, 6-4. Before that, Ostapenko stopped her 6-4, 7-5 in Linz. Those results are the proof that the climb still comes with stumbles, especially when the margins tighten. But the response is what matters. No injury excuse, no vanishing act. Madrid preparation started, Bosch stayed beside her, and the next bracket immediately demanded precision. Alex is walking toward this possibility with recent bruises still visible. Monastir 7-5, 6-0. Madrid's round 1 qualifier, Mertens waiting with a bye, Filipino timelines already pulsing with the rematch they want to see. That is the full charge in this story. The younger Alex who got swallowed by that second set is not the Alex standing in Madrid now. This version has climbed the rankings, collected real wins, taken hard losses, and kept moving toward bigger courts instead of smaller expectations. So here is the verdict. The Madrid draw has given Alex Eala the most honest test possible. Not comfort, not hype. A direct look at the player who once made the gap feel enormous. If she reaches Elise Mertens and changes the ending, that will not feel like a lucky twist. It will feel like delayed justice. So make your call. If Alex gets through round 1, does she finally erase that Monastir bagel against Mertens in Madrid? Or does Mertens' veteran discipline keep the old order intact? And if you were one of the people who saw this bracket and instantly understood why it mattered, you belong with the fans tracking this story in real time. Subscribe and stay with this community as Madrid, Rome, and Roland Garros reveal whether this draw was merely dramatic or the start of something Alex Eala was always going to force the sport to confront.